Oh, sorry. Itchy balls.
Are we ready?
Yeah.
All right. 8:04, we'll call the meeting to order. Start with our mission statement. Lewis County Economic Development, through its board, the IDA, and its brand, Naturally Lewis, are championing the growth of a community where people want to live, work, build business, and play. We foster forward thinking and relationship building, connecting people, businesses, partnerships, and resources to effectively and efficiently grow our county. Did we have any coverage of the board? Yes. So we'll move into items for approval. The August board meeting minutes were sent out with the pre-packet by Jenna. Did everyone have a chance to review? Any questions, corrections? Motion to approve. Second. Dagan, Kenzie. Any discussion? All in favor? July financials.
Yeah, the July financials we went over in the finance committee, at the finance committee meeting. And there's really not a lot notable. On the profit and loss statement, you see, I guess the only thing I called out is that we had 3 payrolls hit in the month of July. So that's why that number is a little bit inflated. But really nothing notable there, and our net position really hasn't changed at all on our balance sheet in the month of July versus June. Really quiet on the finance side this time of year. The finance committee, I don't know if Tom's going to make it, so I'll kind of just give a quick overview. They also looked at our expenditures for the month of July and signed off on those. So if nobody has any questions on the financials, they were just really quiet this month.
Any questions?
Oh, I did include in the packet, I think, the Q2 loan status report. And that's just a review of where all of our revolving loan funds are, the status, everybody's current as of today. We had one that was just kind of 2 months behind, I think, at the time of the report, but everybody's current as of today. So, I mean, I'd have included that in the packet, but we did review that at the finance committee. If anybody at this level wants to see it, I can forward it.
And Cheyenne's got a couple copies of the audit.
Yeah. If you'd like it in this form or PDF, you have.
Any, motion to approve July financials. Ron, second. Any discussion? All in favor? All right, so the 2 Clear Path Energy projects have made their way through the public hearing and everything else.
Yeah, we had a really quiet public hearing, and I think, yeah, David Cassidy from Clear Path Energy is on Zoom. David, did you have anything you wanted to chat with us about before we go through talking about approving these?
No, thank you all. Thank you for your time.
Oh, you're muted, I think.
It might be the sound on our end.
Just thank you all. Thank you, Jan. Thank you for your helping us through this process, and just thank you all. Any questions, let me know.
Okay. Joe or Chris, any comments from you prior to looking at approving these?
No, Cheyenne, the secret resolutions you recall were adopted in July. They piggybacked off the planning board determinations for seekers. So this is just moving forward with the projects and authorizing the execution of documents in connection with the 2 projects.
Okay, and as a reminder to the board, these are both located on the Brewery Road in the town of New Bremen. The Zara project is 5 megawatts. No, they're both 3 megawatts, sorry. And between the two of them, they average out at about $5,000 per megawatt. You saw the cost benefit analysis back before we passed the resolution to go to public hearing. And because there was no public comment at the public hearing, we haven't changed those. There hasn't been any new information on these projects since then. So that cost benefit will be the one that stands for the approval if we move forward with that today.
Any questions on regarding, so we'll have to do these separately, but as Cheyenne said, they're two separate projects from the same company that have been moving through the process together so far. Any other questions? Do we need a roll call?
We do.
Yep.
All right, so if there's no other questions, then Clear Path Energy Farney project approving resolution. Roll call vote. Start.
Motion.
Oh, sorry. I think, do we have a motion for the Farney project first?
I'll make the motion.
Goggin, second. Ron? Was that you, Ron?
Yes.
Okay. Okay, sorry. Now we have a motion by Goggin, a second by Ron. Any discussion? All right. Vote, Ron,
Yes.
Kenzie, Goggin,
Yes.
Darlene,
Yes.
Joe is a yes. All right. So, and I, probably not the right time, but just for clarification, this is our board right now. Jerry Kayer put in an official resignation with the county following our last meeting. Sorry to interrupt with this, but he just felt his time commitments with his job and everything going on with the pandemic were making it too difficult to be part of the attend the meetings. So he was regretful about it, but we certainly understand the position he's in. And I did want to just, thank him for his service, and I was going to do it later, but it seemed like I should remind us now since we're having a roll call vote. All right. So now we'll move on to the ZARE project. Again, it's same stage of development as the Farney project. Do we have a motion?
Motion.
Darlene, a second.
Sure.
Ron, any discussion?
I just commented that both of these projects were discussed in the finance committee report, and we thought, they both should move forward.
Thank you, Tom. All right, so we have a motion and a second. Any other discussion? Roll call. Ron,
Yes.
Tom,
Yes.
Mackenzie,
Yes.
Goggin,
Yes.
Darlene, Joe, yes. All right. Thank you for that. Thank you for your work with us, David. Hope everything continues to move forward.
Thank you, guys.
Thanks.
All right, so we got a bunch of policy.
Yeah. Yeah, Joe and Chris, feel free to stay on if you like. I don't think we have anything left on the agenda that we'll need you to give us input on, but feel free to stay on or to jump off. But we appreciate you.
Yeah, thank you very much. And we'll hop off, but I wanted to point out one thing for the benefit of the board. There's proposed legislation to go back to having public authorities, including IDAs, hold meetings remotely. Presumably this is because of the Delta variant coming forward. So we'll keep you posted on that. The interesting thing in the proposed language, it only references public meetings being held remotely. It doesn't talk about whether public hearings would be held remotely as well, like we did in the past pursuant to the executive order. So just wanted to put that on your radar, and we'll let you all know if it gets passed and what the situation is.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Okay. Have a great day, everybody.
You too.
You too, thanks.
Take care. Have a good day.
We at governance committee brought 6 different policies forward that were due for just an annual review. And these were policies that we worked with an attorney from Barclay Damon a couple of years ago to make sure they were up to date. And so last year, we were able to just move most of them forward as approved. And this year we checked and there's no significant changes that needed to be made. The only 2 that had any changes at all on this list were the loan rating policy and the project recapture and termination policy. And that was just to format them so they match the rest of our policies. That's just me being nitpicky. So the committee didn't recommend any other changes to those. Those are all just ABO required policies that we have, very boilerplate for the most part. The loan rating policy in particular is one that our auditor had suggested we implement 2 years ago. Last year was the first year we used it. So that is a little specific to us. We're not ABO required to have that, but it's been working well for us. So we just need the full board to approve those. We also discussed the UTEP at that meeting, and we'll be working on that a little bit more before we have the board look through, approve any changes there.
So can we do this as a slate? So we take a motion to approve the policies with no material changes for the 6 policies listed here. Early, a second. Tom, any discussion? All in favor? Motion carries. Thank you. Director's report.
Yes. It feels like we're mostly just talking to businesses lately. But we are trying to move some of our strategic things ahead a little bit at the same time. The DRI project for the village of Loudville has been very time consuming, but I think we're very well positioned to win that, and that would be huge for economic development. So it's definitely something we should be spending time on.
When did we find out? When did they disclose that?
It's not due until September 15th, and then it's kind of just, they don't give us a date. They just,
Cheyenne, I'm sorry, I didn't hear what you were just discussing here.
the Village of Level DRI application, Downtown Revitalization Initiative. County planning is actually more spearheading that than we are, but they've definitely needed some assistance, and we know a lot of the businesses, so. Which has been nice because the county opened up their facade and streetscape improvement program this month as well. So it's kind of gone hand in hand. That's a program that businesses and downtowns throughout the county can apply for. But as we're talking to Loudville businesses, obviously we're going to tell them about that too. So that's been nice.
Can that be effective retroactively?
I don't think so.
No. Well, I was just thinking like Cafe Z's doing this whole thing, right? Can they apply for those funds to be reimbursed to them? I just thought.
No, but they have I've talked a lot with them, and I'm trying to encourage them to, get their windows replaced upstairs, which they want to. It's
Right.
just, it's always a money thing. So I'm hoping they'll apply for that
Okay.
piece and just keep moving forward. Yeah, I'm not gonna read through the whole thing because you guys have this report, but partnerships continue to move forward. I already mentioned policies. We're still working on the UTEP, doing some research there before we present anything, any changes, if we want to make them. Staff will be going to the New York State EDC annual meeting later this month. And Brittany just let me know yesterday that she is not going to plan on attending. So we do have a seat open if a board member would like to join us. It's a lot of networking with various economic development individuals around the state. That's what the annual meeting is very much focused. I haven't been yet because I was kind of in Brittany's shoes. I always had a baby or a pretty young kid. So I'm excited to go. This event, they kind of have two major events during the year. This one is definitely more focused on networking and getting to know people than programming, but there are some informational sessions as well. So if anybody wants to do it, it's in Cooperstown and it's a beautiful time of year to be there.
Other questions from the report?
Any update on, it was stated, Senator Chuck Schumer visited regarding access, broadband access. Other than what we're obviously reading in the news, is there any other recent updates?
Not really. I mean, I think he was just kind of pushing for, I mean, he makes an annual kind of tour of the state anyway, but he was kind of pushing for the budget line items that he was specifically working on, and to get certain things through Congress, or through the Senate. So it was more for show than anything, but it was still nice that he did come up, and it was our intern's last day in the office, so she was pretty psyched to meet a senator.
I think he was wondering about this, they talked about he was kind of applying for the funding, and that it was, because they've done the work ahead of time, it was anticipated there would be a lot granted the funds. Is that, maybe that's not a question for.
That question was asked, actually, if we were in a good position, and that was something that they commended us on, is that we've done a lot of the work ahead of time, and so we are well positioned to just kind of, if funding becomes available, if and when, then run with it. So, yeah. I feel like Lewis County is being recognized as the front runner in a lot of things, even in the Tri-County area. St. Lawrence and Jefferson also often are looking to us to follow suit.
Ron, did you have something?
No, I'm ready up there.
Okay.
Thanks.
Anything else? Change anything? All right, moving on, correspondence.
I just included a nice note from Coughlin on our intern, Kaylee. We knew we hit a home run with her, but it was nice to get some outside feedback that she was doing a good job for us.
She worked with Coughlin pretty regularly in the last few weeks, working on some web pages for us that weren't finalized before her last days. So we're just trying to piece together the last parts of that to push it out to everybody. When I get a free minute, I'll get to it. And there's a possibility that she might come back for a week when she's on break and finish up some projects too. So, but she did a wonderful job.
All right, committee reports.
The finance committee met and we reviewed the financials. There was nothing particularly unusual there. Over the loan reports. We also reviewed the two energy projects that we just passed. The only thing that really was at all controversial in our discussions was Lionsdale biomass substation. There's a request to transfer that to the paper mill, I believe. Is that correct?
No, the buyer of the re-energy project.
Okay, the meat process.
Yeah.
Okay. Anyway, we've got a request to transfer that substation along with that rest of the property. And we discussed it somewhat and decided that the whole board should kind of make that decision.
And I don't know if we've gotten any other information on it to have any further.
No, I was gonna bring it to governance committee next so that governance could talk about it a little bit, but we may be able to. Yeah, probably bring it to committee before we talk about it here.
So so that property included an old substation that had a right of way on the neighboring property. And that was, the original agreement when we took over possession of the land was that could be transferred to another party at some point in the future if they had need for the connection to the grid. And the McRes Meatpacking that is moving forward with the property and the project there has expressed interest in that that interconnect. And so the question is that a good use to transfer it to that company, or is there other potential needs for that from surrounding properties? There are other projects that might be of more use, and so I think we were going to get a little more information on it. And Jane, as you said, if the finance discussed it, and then if we get some more information and bring that to the governance committee, and then perhaps next month we'll have the information we want to discuss it.
What would they use it for?
Go ahead.
He's interested in putting possibly some solar panels on part of the property. And our understanding of the substation is that it doesn't make sense to even bring it up to operating unless you're gonna produce 22 megawatts worth of power, which you can't possibly fit on that site, so.
A little hard to tell. It would take a lot of money to get it going again.
I mean, the condition of it, I think, is somewhat questionable.
Yeah, I've never seen it, so.
I was there when a
It's
solar,
Pretty small substation compared to the ones you see around, but on the other hand, it's what the cogen used to put the power in.
Right.
So actually, it would be very valuable if it was functional. But its functionality is somewhat
Questionable at best, huh?
Yeah.
so a little bit more research and we'll make sure that everybody on the board's aware of where we're at on that before we move forward with anything.
Anything else, Don? Thank you. Was there anything else from governance? Cheyenne mentioned starting the conversation and updating the UTEP.
And just a side note, Jerry was the chair of the governance committee, so I don't know if we want to wait until we get another board member before we pick another chair for that committee. That's just why we don't have somebody to give the report.
Anything else there?
We can print out the ADO documents for them.
Okay,
Who's on the governance?
Darlene and Ron now with Jerry's absence, they have one opening.
Shouldn't we pick one, a chair? Because what are the chances of a new person coming in and being the chair? Or do you think it's prudent to wait?
Sometimes we readjust committees depending on the new person's expertise. Like if they were a finance person, then they might.
Okay. A different topic. I'm looking at Darlene's, what is that, a Chromebook? We brought that up for, do we proceed in any capacity or like an iPad or?
We haven't at
Can
all.
we talk about that eventually?
Yep.
I think that's been on the back burner with Brittany out and stuff of just
We can move
all
on.
the projects going on with the county and everything, but definitely definitely still on the radar for when we get a minute to research it.
Yeah, we can do that. Darling.
Since we're on the topic of the Lionsdale biomass, that's closing tomorrow.
Okay,
So it's Dr. Abdul Rahman will be the owner tomorrow.
and there was a nice article in the paper on was it Sunday's paper, Saturday's?
Saturday, so I was tracking it.
Sunday paper anymore.
Yeah.
I was tracking it on my way back from Virginia Beach
Yeah.
because the media had put fear in me that the feedback was not going to be good, but I've not seen anything but positive feedback so far.
So that was in the Watertown Daily Times over the weekend, so.
And we have connected, we've been trying to connect Rez with everybody possible to make his project successful. We connected him with James just because we happened to run into them at the Lions Falls Farmers Market the other day. And he was on our list to connect to him for the food hub, but also Michelle Ledoux from CCE is going to be meeting with him on the property with Marty Broccoli, his last name is, who's worked with helping get USDA facilities up and going. So I'm hopeful that if we connect him with the right people, we can have a successful project. Jenna was nice enough to print out the annual ABO forms that we need the board to fill out. We've done these pretty recently. I think back in January, maybe we did these, but they want them done on a certain schedule according to our fiscal year. So I'm asking you to do them again. It's just the acknowledgement of fiduciary duties and responsibilities, and then an evaluation of board performance that we submit to the ABO each year. So if you want to do that while you're here, that's great. If you want to take them and bring them back, that's also fine. And since we have time, Joe, I think we have time to go into executive session to discuss something with our attorney that's come up.
Okay, so we, that gets us through the discussion items on the agenda. We have one point of discussion with our attorney for executive session. We would take a motion to enter into executive session. Ron, a second. Tom, all in favor?
So
Wait.
8:54.
Okay, so we ended the executive session discussion with the attorney on a contract matter. No other actions will be taken. Any other business for the meeting? Motion to adjourn. Mackenzie, second. Ron, all in favor?
Aye.
Thank you, everyone.
Thank you.